What if I revealed that genuine longing isn't fueled solely by affection, but also by strength, intrigue, and suspense? The pull that men and women feel isn't just about being nice. It's about the concealed currents of the human psyche. Those who grasp these currents can direct them, like tugging on invisible threads. Machiavelli once observed, "It is safer to be feared than loved if one cannot be both." In the realm of attraction, the true expertise lies not in meanness or false charisma, but in comprehending the profound realities of human behavior. Today, I will share the concealed principles of sway, secrets that ignite passion not through pressure, but through the age-old craft of understanding the mind, the hidden layer of attraction. Many men assume romance is simple. They believe that by presenting flowers, offering sweet talk, and providing consolation, a woman will automatically develop a powerful craving for them. But yearning is not manufactured by mere good deeds. Fondness by itself does not always construct magnetic pull. Women, similar to men, are affected by a more profound element, primal drives that reside within the human brain. These drives react to power, enigma, and the sense of security that comes from proximity to someone who knows his own direction. Imagine a fellow who devotes all his resources pursuing a woman's validation. He dispatches lengthy messages, provides non-stop focus, and presents gifts whenever possible. He sincerely thinks he is demonstrating his devotion. Yet, frequently, what is the result? She receives his actions courteously, perhaps even with gratitude, but she does not experience that intense flame of desire. Why? Because he has entered the part of a foreseeable performer following a routine he assumes she desires. He offers everything too rapidly, too transparently. There is no suspense, no wonder, no room for her own mind to wander. Now imagine another man. He is not hurried. He does not plead for notice. He possesses his own ambitions, his own journey in life. When he talks, his tone is consistent and peaceful. When he pays attention, he offers his complete concentration. He displays compassion, but not from a place of scarcity. He gives his time, but not all at once. Near him, there is something implied, something that creates questions in her thoughts. She ponders, who is he truly? What motivates him? Why does he seem distinct from the others? This is the hidden layer of attraction. It is not about deception or strategies. It is about realizing that desire operates through mental principles, not pure reason. Machiavelli once stated, "People judge more by what they see than by what they touch." His point was evident. Outer impressions shape how we are perceived. If you exhibit self-assurance, others detect your confidence. If you exhibit serene command, others perceive your leadership. What you reflect externally generates emotions internally. Women, like men, do not react only to what they receive. They react to the manner in which it is offered. A flower given anxiously feels entirely different from a flower given with quiet power. A text sent in worry feels different from a text written with self-certainty. The item is identical, but the intention behind it transforms everything. The reality is straightforward. Desire is not assembled from presence or phrases alone. It is generated in the way a man conducts himself, in the room he permits for wonder, in the harmony between openness and secrecy. If you learn to navigate this stage instead of just reacting to it, you cease being average. You become the man who establishes the mood, who forms the environment, who makes her experience something beyond reasoning. And in that space, authentic attraction is born. The strength of secrecy desire functions like a flame. It glows most brightly when it has space to expand. Many men, without knowing, extinguish that flame by offering too much too fast. They disclose every idea, every emotion, and lay bare their entire soul right from the beginning. They trust such transparency will make a woman feel cherished and safe. But often the reverse occurs. Without any secrecy, fascination vanishes. And when fascination dies, the flicker of desire dims alongside it. Attraction flourishes in the uncertain. It exists in silences, in quiet looks, in instants where answers are withheld. A man who displays everything too rapidly eliminates this intrigue. He becomes common, expected, and predictability diminishes appeal. As Machiavelli cautioned, the one who reveals his strategies too soon is already beaten. In matters of the heart, this fact becomes even more acute. When a man gives everything away, there is no tension remaining to keep the flame burning. Picture two individuals. The first is constantly accessible, always prepared, always justifying himself. He replies to every text immediately, shares every aspect of his day, conceals absolutely nothing. Initially, this might appear caring, but eventually, it feels too effortless. She detects no unpredictability, no test, no anticipation. And steadily, her attention wanes. The second individual is not the same. He is affectionate, but he does not hurry. He communicates, but in fragments, not all together. When he is apart, he doesn't feel compelled to justify every moment of his time because he has his own concentration, his own route. His quiet demeanor is not icy, it is stable. His unpredictability is not disorder, it is fortitude. Around him, there is always an unanswered question, always something left to explore, and that exploration builds longing. This is what secrecy truly signifies. It is not about falsehoods or acting. It is not about tactics or play. Secrecy is simply the skill of holding back, the decision to let the imagination occupy the gaps. And imagination, once activated, forges more powerful sensations than anything laid out completely. The man who comprehends secrecy knows desire is constructed in a pattern. Offering a little, then pausing, revealing some, but leaving more unspoken. This push and pull keeps the intellect involved, the heart inquisitive, and the narrative progressing. So keep this in mind. If you disclose everything too quickly, you will be used up just as fast. But if you retain enough to maintain substance and fascination, you become a person worth exploring, a man who seems limitless. And in that profundity, desire continues to develop. Quiet power and authentic command. Many men assume command means being the most vocal in the space, attempting to direct others or behaving forcefully. But this is an error. Authentic command is not about yelling or imposing your will. It is about aura. It is the calm, stable energy of a man who knows his own mind, who comprehends his principles, and who walks his journey with conviction. Genuine command doesn't need to validate itself. It communicates without speech. A man who perpetually seeks validation, who relies on a woman to direct every decision, is not standing as her partner. He may think this is devotion, but in truth, it is reliance, and reliance weakens magnetic pull. A woman might feel compassion for such a man, but she will not feel the profound draw of desire, because she does not perceive his power, only his need. Now envision another type of man. He does not plead for notice. He does not lose his center when someone disregards him. He pays attention intently, speaks with purpose, and acts with calm resolve. His decisions are not formed by anxiety, but by clear understanding and direction. He does not need to raise his volume to be heard. His words carry significance because they come from self-discipline and belief. His very being generates a feeling of security and steadiness. Human beings are pulled toward strength the way celestial bodies are pulled by gravity. The sun does not chase the planets. It simply remains in its position and everything revolves around it. A man with quiet power becomes like that, a foundation. A woman feels protected near him, not because he commands esteem, but because his stability naturally attracts it. Machiavelli examined rulers of his era and noted something eternal. The men who could govern themselves could also steer others. Command starts from within. A man who cannot handle his frustration, his urges, or his anxieties cannot genuinely lead. But the man who trains his mind and manages his conduct naturally becomes someone others look to. For women, this type of command is not about ruling. It is about confidence. It is about knowing that when difficulties arise, he will not crumble. When disorder appears, he will not lose his way. His quiet power is like an anchor, steady, reliable, silently influential. This touches something fundamental in human psychology, the need to feel secure next to someone who will not fracture when stress increases. Command, therefore, is not built from sound or domination. It is built from self-control, poise, and quiet self-belief. The man who lives in this manner does not need to request attention. It gravitates toward him naturally. He does not pursue because what is solid does not need to pursue. And in that stillness, he awakens esteem, appreciation, and enduring desire. The harmony of closeness and distance attraction is not a direct line. It is not about giving everything constantly, nor is it about locking everything away. True courtship is more like a pattern, like the inhalation and exhalation of breath. Sometimes you move forward, sometimes you step away, sometimes you talk, sometimes you listen. This pattern is what sustains engagement. A man who understands this flow does not need to pursue because the natural attraction of psychology functions for him. Consider first the man who is always present. Whenever she contacts him, he answers immediately. Whenever she requests, he abandons his schedule for her. Each day he sends texts, updates, small signs of his affection. At first, she may appreciate the focus, but gradually it becomes overwhelming. His perpetual presence starts to lose its value. He becomes foreseeable, common. What is constantly accessible often loses its worth because plenty makes things ordinary. Now picture the opposite man, the one who is seldom there. He is always absent, too occupied, too unreachable. Initially, his remoteness might build some intrigue, but finally secrecy becomes annoyance. If he never shows up, the bond weakens and he risks being lost entirely. The real skill lies in the center, in the equilibrium of nearness and separation. A man who knows when to approach with kindness and when to withdraw into quiet creates something potent: expectation. Expectation is the core of desire. It is the sensation of wanting more, but not yet possessing it. It allows room for the imagination, keeps the mind occupied, and makes the heart eager with interest. This is what provides worth. Machiavelli would have named it the approach of value. When something is limited, people value it. When something is not always within grasp, it is pursued. In attraction, this is not about play acting. It is about equilibrium. Excessive closeness suffocates interest. Excessive separation destroys the connection. But the correct rhythm makes every interaction significant. Imagine a man sharing an evening with a woman. He is entirely engaged, observant, calm, and strong. But when the night concludes, he does not hold on. He goes back to his own life, his aims, his purpose. His absence is not indifference. It is a signal that he is his own person. She senses his nearness, then his distance, and anticipates his return. This rhythm keeps the spark glowing. Many men fear stepping away. They think that if they are not always reachable, they will lose her. But the truth is the opposite. Space creates importance. His presence feels like a reward, and his absence makes her excited to see him again. So remember, affection may find solace in closeness, but desire exists in suspense. The man who is always available will be ignored, and the man who is never available will be overlooked. But the man who masters the pattern, the harmony of closeness and distance, becomes memorable. He is not just another person. He is a rhythm, a puzzle, and a presence she cannot direct, only yearn for. The force of emotional sparks. Desire does not originate from rationality. It does not flourish because of meticulous arguments or smart logic. It is created from sentiments, those sudden flashes in the heart that can't be entirely rationalized. Machiavelli noted that people are guided more by their passions than by their intellect. This fact is timeless, and when it comes to attraction, feeling is the genuine energy source. Many men overlook this. They assume that if they are courteous, sensible, and reliable, a woman will naturally choose them. But logic alone does not stir ardor. Predictability eliminates thrill. Too much security removes the excitement. A man who clarifies everything, who never allows for the unexpected, who is always simple to decipher. Such a man may appear suitable in theory, but in practice, he loses his appeal in her sight. Now consider a different man. He is stable, but not totally foreseeable. He is kind, but not clingy. He listens, but he also provokes. Sometimes he gives his undivided focus. Other times, he pulls back and creates a gap. This man stimulates interest. He generates anticipation. He becomes a test, and because of that, he remains in her thoughts. It is the same with tales. People enjoy stories filled with turns, anticipation, and moments of uncertainty. If everything was clear, no one would bother to continue. Attraction follows the same principle. If a man is too simple to understand, the story finishes early. But if he stimulates curiosity, if he maintains some intrigue, the story continues and desire increases. Take praise as an example. One man inundates a woman with flattery all the time. You're so beautiful. You're perfect. You're incredible. Initially, she may be pleased, but soon the phrases lose their impact. They feel hollow because there is no substance behind them. Another man, however, offers compliments less frequently. When he does, they are sincere, uncommon, and considerate. His words feel more powerful because they are not distributed carelessly. His restraint gives them value. This is the essence of emotional sparks. Anticipation, when she wonders what he is thinking. Interest, when she feels pulled to learn more about him. Challenge, when she realizes his esteem must be merited. These are not tricks. They are innate aspects of human psychology. The insightful man does not resist this reality. He does not declare that people should choose with pure reason. Instead, he acknowledges that desire is emotional and collaborates with it. He uses this insight with respect, not to deceive, but to motivate. He creates anticipation by not being accessible every moment. He builds interest by preserving some of his inner self. He offers a challenge by adhering to his standards, by not diminishing himself merely to satisfy. This is why the man who is both kind and firm both transparent and enigmatic, leaves a permanent impression. He is not aloof, but he is not desperate. He is not simple to obtain, yet not unattainable. He maintains the balance between generosity and power, availability and mystery, secrecy and clarity. That balance triggers feelings deeper than logic ever could. So remember, desire does not emerge from intellect alone. It grows from emotion. If you wish to awaken attraction, don't depend only on language or reason. Stimulate her interest. Generate anticipation. Be a worthwhile challenge. For it is not logic that stirs the heart. It is a feeling, and the man who understands this becomes unforgettable. The shadow side of sway. There is a reality most men ignore. The instant you attempt to mold desire, you enter a precarious zone. Power without insight readily becomes damage. Plan without integrity turns into exploitation. And a man who seeks to command others without first conquering himself is already lost. When some men initially discover the principles of attraction and psychology, they are lured to exploit them. They think, if I say the correct things, if I behave in the correct manner, I can make her feel precisely what I want. But this mindset is toxic. It is the road of control. A man who treats influence as a tool for domination does not inspire devotion. He creates apprehension, opposition, and suspicion. Machiavelli observed that some rulers employed power to establish order, while others used it only to ruin. The same rule applies to connections. Influence by itself is neutral. It can be a present or a burden, depending on the man who wields it. If he is controlled by envy, rage, or doubt, then his sway will decay everything around him. But if he has learned to rule his own feelings, his own desires, and his own insecurities, then his power becomes reliable, constructive, and honorable. Understand this. Disregarding the psychology of desire does not shield you from it. Men who reject these truths are not liberated from the dynamic. They simply become participants in someone else's dynamic. Women, like men, are moved by unseen mental forces. The decision is whether you learn to guide them or let them guide you. The solution is not to flee from influence, nor to exploit it. The solution is to discipline yourself first. A man who cannot control his envy cannot lead with tranquility. A man who cannot master his irritation cannot make a woman feel secure. A man who is dependent on validation will always stay fragile. To genuinely guide desire, you must first be in charge of yourself. Only then can you employ influence without tainting it. Only then can you hold power without being destroyed by it. And only then will a woman not only feel desire, but also respect, trust, and see you as a man of authentic depth. The final synthesis. Attraction is not built on frantic gifts, shallow praise, or endless pursuit. It is created by the way a man exists and carries himself. It grows from deeper currents, secrecy that awakens interest, command that inspires respect, rhythm that sustains longing, and emotional resonance that touches the core. A woman, like a man, is not moved only by comfort. She is drawn to strength, not the kind that dominates, but the kind that earns admiration and awakens craving simultaneously. True strength is not egotism or control. It is clarity of purpose. Machiavelli's knowledge was never about brutality. His true insight was that people are governed by their inherent nature, not by perfect ideals. He understood that the one who perceives reality clearly and who acts with deliberate intent instead of random chance holds the ultimate power. The man who accepts this truth becomes more than just another admirer. He becomes uncommon. He becomes the man remembered, respected, and desired, not because of what he gives away, but because of who he has shaped himself to be. If this resonated with you, if you felt the significance of these truths, then step further into this community of understanding. Like this video. Subscribe for more insights into psychology, power, and human nature, and leave a comment below. What do you believe is the most powerful force of attraction? Mystery, authority, or absence? Your thoughts may ignite the next conversation. Until then, remain resilient, remain perceptive, and never forget the dynamic is always in motion.